There are important elections today in Wisconsin and Florida. Central states are about to get some truly wild weather. And it's not goodbye, but see you later to Hooters. That's some of what we'll get to on the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Tuesday, April 1st, but we will not be fooling you. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Number 1. Voters are headed to the polls in Florida and Wisconsin. Today is the first big electoral test for President Donald Trump since he was re-elected in November. Voters in Florida will elect replacements for Matt Gaetz and Michael Waltz in the House, where Republicans hold a slim advantage. And over in Wisconsin, voters will choose a new member of their state's Supreme Court. That race has become the most expensive judicial contest in U.S. history. Right now, the court has a 4-3 liberal majority. Republicans, including Trump and his billionaire advisor Elon Musk, are backing Brad Schimmel. Here's Schimmel speaking to a local ABC news station on Sunday.
We have to restore objectivity to this court. We have to put the court back in its proper role, where it's not making the law. It's not going through a political agenda. It is applying the law the way the legislature writes it to the facts of the case.
Democrats have thrown their support behind Susan Crawford. She spoke to MSNBC yesterday about Musk's involvement in the race.
I think that Elon Musk has a number of interests here. One is that one of his companies, Tesla, has a lawsuit against the state of Wisconsin that's moving its way through the Wisconsin state courts. So he's got some stakes in the judiciary in Wisconsin, and he wants to have some impact and influence over judges here.
As part of his efforts to elect Schimmel, Musk handed out million-dollar checks to 2 Wisconsin voters on Sunday. He said he was just trying to draw attention to the race. As the results come in, analysts will be searching for signs of what it all means for Trump's ability to maintain momentum for his agenda, especially in swing states. President Trump's aides are drafting plans for aggressive new tariffs. That's number 2. For weeks, officials have been planning to announce new tariffs tomorrow, a day the president has dubbed Liberation Day. This morning, the Post reported some new details on what we should expect. White House aides have reportedly drafted a proposal to impose tariffs of around 20% on most imports into the U.S. If it's implemented, the plan is likely to send shockwaves through the stock market and the global economy. One expert said it could tip the U.S. economy into a recession that could last for more than a year and send the jobless rate above 7%. Trump talked about the new tariffs yesterday, speaking to reporters in the Oval Office.
I think this is going to be an amazing, I call it a lot of different names, but it's really, in a sense, it's a rebirth of a country, because how we could have afforded to do what we did, we help everybody, and they don't help us. The term I like best probably is the liberation of America. It's a liberation of this country, because
White House officials have said that several options are on the table and that no final decision has been made. And they've downplayed warnings from economists. They're arguing that similar downbeat forecasts were proved wrong when Trump imposed more modest tariffs during his first term. But this time around, Trump is pushing for the most aggressive overhaul of the global economic system in decades. Number 3. The Trump administration is targeting billions of dollars in funding to Harvard. This is the latest step in Trump's efforts to force changes at top universities where students have protested Israel's war in Gaza. His administration created a joint task force to combat anti-Semitism. Yesterday, it was announced that the task force will review $8.7 billion in multi-year grant commitments to Harvard and its affiliates. It will also scrutinize $255 million in federal contracts. The reviews follow dramatic cuts at Columbia University. This month, the administration said it was cutting off $400 million in federal grants to Columbia because it said the school was not doing enough to protect Jewish students. Columbia officials recently agreed to make big changes to its disciplinary and enforcement procedures and to some of its academic departments. Number 4. A judge ruled that Alabama groups can help people travel out of the state for abortions. Alabama's Republican Attorney General Steve Marshall was sued after statements he made in 2022. He had claimed that he had the right to prosecute anyone who helped Alabama women get abortions in states where the procedure is legal. He suggested that groups offering aid might be involved in a criminal conspiracy. But late yesterday, a federal judge ruled against him. In the decision, the judge emphasized that the right to travel out of a state is protected by the U.S. Constitution. The ruling comes amid a rise in legal battles between states with differing abortion laws, and it could affect similar travel restrictions in other states with abortion bans. Karen Reed is back on trial for murder today. That's our 5th story. The case of Karen Reed has drawn widespread national attention. It has captivated true crime fans, conspiracy theorists, and the media. Reed is accused of killing her police officer boyfriend in Massachusetts in 2022. Prosecutors allege that she struck him with her SUV after a night of drinking. She claims she was framed in a police cover-up. Her first trial ended in a deadlocked jury and a mistrial last summer. The case has drawn even more attention since then. A judge in the new trial has extended a buffer zone outside the courthouse in anticipation of demonstrators outside the court. The trial begins today with jury selection. Number 6. Central states are facing multiple days of hazardous weather. Today through Sunday, the Plains, Midwest, and Great Lakes regions will see a dizzying array of extreme spring weather. That includes flooding rainfall, tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, heavy snow and ice, and high heat. It will all kick off tonight with severe thunderstorms. Then tomorrow, a tropical moisture plume from the Caribbean Sea will fuel further chaos. More than 8 million people live in a corridor that has a moderate risk for excessive rainfall later this week. So if you live in central states, make sure you keep a close eye on the forecast. And at number 7, Hooters has filed for bankruptcy. For those who aren't familiar, Hooters is a restaurant chain known for its chicken wings and the revealing outfits worn by its female waitstaff. The brand was launched in 1983 in Florida, and it has divided America ever since. Some see it as part of the fabric of American communities. Others see it as offensive and objectifying to women. The brand was once a hit. It even launched an airline in 2003. But more recently, it's been hit by debt and other financial troubles. So yesterday, it filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. If you're a fan of the restaurant, don't despair. The chain will continue to operate as it sorts out its finances. And it's going to sell some of its restaurants to a franchisee group, which includes one of its founders. So Hooters will live to die another day, and you can keep enjoying their wings. All right, you're all caught up. For your next listen, check out Try This, an audio course hosted by friend of the show, Christina Quinn. The latest episode drops today. In this season, Christina will teach you strategies for how to let go of your devices and focus. The time is ripe to reset your brain. Find Try This wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Hannah Jewell. I'll meet you back here tomorrow.
I'm Fennet Narapil, and I'm a health reporter for The Washington Post. My job is to cover public health, and that means I'm writing about infectious disease threats like COVID, Mpox, and bird flu, and I'm also holding the federal government and state government officials accountable for how they respond to these disease threats. So when we write about public health issues, we want to serve our readers by going deep into the science and by making sure that what they're reading is authoritative information that's been vetted by experts and written by people who've covered these issues for years. We want to empower people to live their best lives and to protect themselves and their loved ones. And that's what subscriber-supported work does, is that it gives me the time and resources to really spend on a story. When you subscribe to the Washington Post, you support this kind of journalism and the people behind it. I'm Fennet Nirapil, and I'm one of the people behind the Post.